first of all, what is the military prepared to do right now? What kind of resources do we have there, and what do you know about what the plan is?
Well, they haven't leaked out a lot of details, but of course you've heard the talk about the Navy making preparations and moving ships into the area. They have said, Chuck Hagel, the Secretary of Defense, has said repeatedly that as soon as there is a go order, that they have prepared resources to strike. One of the things you've heard about this that's been really interesting on Capitol Hill, though, from Buck McKeon, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, is that he's really concerned with sequestration hanging over the military, about the readiness of troops to engage in such a mission. He had a Wall Street Journal op-ed out last night in which he said that he would vote against any resolution to use force in Syria if the president did not commit to addressing the sequestration cuts hitting the military during any deal on the debt ceiling.
The president didn't put the sequestration cuts in place, as Congress did by not acting.
Yeah, I think a lot of Republicans on the Armed Services Committee would probably argue with that, but there are many House Republicans are now looking to try Syria to this debate on sequestration, saying that it is hurting our national security for the military to be staring down this volume of cuts over the next couple of years.
Republicans, I'm not meaning to get into debate with you, but Republicans in Congress are the ones who wanted the sequester. I mean, not Buck McKeon, I'm sure, right?
Yeah.
He's one of the old line Republicans who's not part of this Tea Party crowd. But he ought to talk to his fellow Republicans about that. They could get rid of the sequestration anytime they wanted, right, in Congress. In fact, the president has asked them to, and they refused to do it. So, I mean, yeah, nice try blaming that on Obama. But so what will they do? Do you know whether they plan, is it 20 cruise missiles or 100, or is it, one target or 200 targets? Any idea of the range we're talking about here?
I haven't heard a lot of details about the range. The two things that seem to be publicly floating around is whether this will be cruise missiles or whether there will be joint airstrikes with French and American military. But past that level, they haven't really gotten into that kind of granular detail, which I guess is a good thing because I probably wouldn't want to give Assad's government a roadmap as to exactly how I plan to attack him.
All right. Now, let's come back to what's happening with this diplomatic effort, okay? So these ships that we have moved into the Persian Gulf, is it? And including the destroyers, the ones that have this capacity, and also this aircraft carrier. What do they do now? Do they just stay there? Do you know? I mean,
that is a great question. I mean, I guess my best inference would be that it would be imprudent to move them because this is a very volatile area and it's not quite clear how this diplomatic process will go. Again, there has been many skeptics that this process of turning over chemical weapons international control will actually manifest itself, despite the rhetoric you've heard this morning. So it'll be very, very interesting to see whether or not they are moved or what kind of way they're used, or if they just sit there to kind of put pressure on the region.
Now, this is your area. There have been reports that the military itself, like starting with General Dempsey, the head of the Joint Chiefs, is not real eager, not real excited about this idea of military strike against Syria. Have you picked that up?
I mean, the opposition and the wariness, rather, by General Dempsey has been pretty well stated in the letters that he sent back to members of Congress, members of the Senate Armed Services Committee during his confirmation. And it's very interesting. If you watch these last couple of hearings, go back and look at the tape. Look at what General Dempsey says. Not very much. These hearings have been dominated. This has been the John Kerry, Chuck Hagel show. General Dempsey has been largely silent, not really engaging on some of the most controversial exchanges at these hearings on the authorization for use of force.
All right. The president is on the Hill today meeting with Senate Democrats and then Senate Republicans. What is your beat today? You leave here, you go to the Hill. Where are you going to be hanging out?
Everywhere and then some. I'll certainly be talking to members on the Hill, finding out what they're hearing from the president, what their confidence level is, then heading back to the office to take in the big speech and talk to members after.